Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this episode 6, in which I explore and do a deep dive into each stanza of the Havamal. The Havamal that I use is the Pocket Havamal, translated by Benjamin Thorpe. You can find it on Amazon, all sorts of places, but I'll post a link in the description for you as well, just because it's a really useful little Havamal to carry around on you. Literally, as the name describes, fits in your pocket. So as I said, stanza 6, episode 6. We'll just jump straight in, I guess. So stanza 6: of his understanding no one should be proud, but rather in conduct cautious. When the prudent and taciturn come to a dwelling, harm seldom befalls the cautious. For a firmer friend no man ever gets than great discernment. Initially, I kind of had to look up the word discernment. Maybe it's a word I should know, I don't know, but as part of the research and the analysis of this, Havamal looked it up. So for those who don't know, basically means judgment. So for a firmer friend no man ever gets than great judgment is another way of wording it. So in the context of Old Norse wisdom, stanza 6 speaks to the value of humility and cautious behaviour. The advice not to be proud of one's understanding emphasises the importance of avoiding arrogance and overconfidence. That sort of, well, I know, so, whatever. It's also a very common theme. There's a YouTuber that I listen to or watch podcast episode, and if you don't, I strongly recommend it. It's called The Daily Stoic. Ryan Holiday, and it was actually Ryan Holiday who partly inspired me to do this, and he says a quote that's great, and it's from one of the Stoics, so you'll have to forgive me because I can't quite remember who, but it basically means don't be afraid to be seen as stupid, because if you don't know when you don't ask, then you'll never know. And that's got a similar vein in this one. So the stanza also encourages prudence in one's conduct, highlighting the importance of measured and careful actions. When the wise and thoughtful visit a dwelling, their careful behaviour often prevents harm, essentially. So cautiousness, careful, not too overcautious, not too careful, because life can just wash you by in that respect, but always have that air of cautiousness about you. The stanza also suggests that discernment, judgment, is a valuable quality, leading to strong and lasting friendships. And I think, whilst it also potentially leads to long and lasting friendships, I think what it's also saying is having great discernment, having great judgment, that ability to be able to judge, is a very good friend to you. So not actually in the sense of having that ability to judge makes good friends. Arguably it definitely will, but it also means having that discernment allows you to become a better person. It's the discernment, the judgment is a good friend for you. From a Stoic perspective, this stanza aligns with Stoic values such as humility, wisdom, virtue. The Stoics believe that wisdom is to be pursued humbly. Again, going back to that, don't be afraid to look stupid. Understanding that there was always more to learn. You don't know everything. Who was it who said? Somebody said, one of the most intelligent things I can do is to realise I don't know everything. That was a bit rubbish. It's a quote that's just sprung to mind, and I can't remember who said it. Perhaps you can put it in the comments for me at the bottom. That'd be great. Let me know who that was. But yeah, so there's always more to learn, and that emphasis on cautious conduct reflects the Stoic principle of aligning actions with reasons and virtue, focusing on what is within our control. It's a very key message throughout all of Stoicism, to focus on what you can control and try your best to forget about those things that you can't control. You can't control what's going on in the wider world, so why worry about it? You can't control some idiot who's sat up your backside while you're driving, so why worry about it? But what you can control is how you react, and you can control how you feel and your emotions about that. So it's a very, very important principle throughout Stoicism. Furthermore, the stanza's portrayal of discernment, so going back to that judgment thing again, so the portrayal of discernment as a valuable friend aligns with Stoic ideals of valuing wisdom and understanding, mainly so in our relationships, but I think you could argue that wisdom and understanding can be used in many different scenarios throughout your life and can always make those scenarios better. Approach life with caution. For in careful consideration lies the wisdom to navigate challenges and make prudent choices. Kind of reminds me of a quote from Marcus Aurelius. I might butcher this a little bit. Something, in one way an arrow moves, in another way the mind. The mind indeed, both when it exercises cautions and when it is employed about inquiry, moves straight onward, not the less, and to its object. So basically a focused mind hits its target, essentially. And that's that ability to judge a scenario, judge a situation that you're in, and by focusing gives you that ability to make sure you're heading in the right direction, whatever the right direction is for you. In the modern world, this stanza holds valuable lessons that resonate across cultures and eras. And again, love that phrase, so I think I use it in every podcast now. Valuable lessons that resonate across cultures and eras. First of all, humility and self-awareness. So it's important to be humble. It's also important to be self-aware. The stanza itself emphasizes the importance of humility and self-awareness in a world that often celebrates self-promotion. The wisdom of being humble and recognizing our limitations remains so relevant, and it's something that I actively try and promote and push, and especially within myself every day in the working life. You'll work with colleagues who are very quick to shout about their own success, but then not talk about the failures, and it's in failure where we learn. So I think it's important to talk about your failures where you've not quite achieved something, as well as talking about the things that you have achieved, but in a humble way, so that your colleagues or associates or people around you can also learn from what you're doing. In terms of cautious conduct, the advice to be cautious in behaviour reflects the importance of thoughtful decision making. It encourages us to consider the consequences of our actions and approach situations with careful consideration. And I love that thought of it, of that sort of the consequences of our actions, because I don't believe in right and wrong, but I do believe in action and consequence. Every action you take has a consequence, whether that be positive or negative, and it's really useful to be mindful of that. the value of discernment as well, the value of judgment. So just as discernment is valued in the stanza, wisdom and understanding are highly prized in the modern world and will be highly prized throughout your entire life. The ability to make well-informed decisions and navigate complex situations is absolutely essential. You'll come across them all the time, and having that ability, having that good quality level of judgment will take you a long way. The stanza's mention of strong friendships as well also resonates with the modern focus of meaningful connections. You know, we live in this digital world today. So many of us spend so much of our time on social media, and when you think about the connections that you gather through social media, someone might, you might have thousands of friends on your friend list, but they're not friends. They can't be. It's impossible to maintain friendships with that level of people. It's why I try and have no more than 150 to 200 friends on my Facebook friends list, because even that is a struggle to manage. But even that is more manageable than 2,000, 3,000 friends who you will never ever talk to. So genuine relationships are often built on understanding, respect and wisdom, and a lot of the time you need that face-to-face interaction in order to build those. It's really difficult to learn to respect someone when it's constantly virtual, and you only see a snippet of their lives. Most people on social media will only post the positive stuff on there. Then when you get somebody who does post the negative, they're accused of fishing for comments and likes, and face-to-face is always the way to go. But yeah, genuine relationships are always the way to go. And this stanza absolutely talks about that. It also talks about ethical virtue. So both the Old Norse and Stoic viewpoints highlight ethical values, or ethical virtues if you like. The stanza encourages us to act virtuously, understanding that our behaviour has a significant impact on our interactions and relationships. I think that's probably one of the more obvious points, but it's absolutely there. In essence, though, this stanza 6, serves as a reminder to approach life with humility, careful consideration, and a focus on ethical behaviour. It bridges the wisdom of Old Norse traditions with Stoic ideals of virtue and wisdom. It offers a guide to navigating the complexities of the modern world with grace and wisdom. And let's face it, there are many complexities of the modern world, just as there were complexities of the world 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. There will always be complexities. Embrace humility, embrace careful consideration, embrace your ethics, guide yourself on your ethics. That's something I've learned a lot over the last couple of years in particular. But do it with a bit of grace, wisdom. And when you don't know something, put your hands up. Don't know. I'm prepared to be the stupid one in the class. Let me put my hand up and ask, because otherwise I'll never learn. Thank you. As always, I'd like to end this episode by reading stanza 6 to you again. So stanza 6: of his understanding no one should be proud, but rather in conduct cautious. When the prudent and taciturn come to a dwelling, harm seldom befalls the cautious. For a firmer friend no man ever gets than great discernment. Thank you very much. Hail to you. Please do all the usual: like, subscribe, comment, review. Would appreciate it. I do this because I want to give something back to the heathen community, and your feedback will always be appreciated. So again, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm now on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. So you can find me all over the place. Thank you all. See you on the next one.